Hello everyone and welcome to Channel 18 TV News. I'm Don Julian filling in for Jim Rogers today. In the news, this is Physicians Week, and a lunch for doctors and physicians' assistants, along with a variety of prizes, will honor local physicians for their work. Channel 18's Doug Haston interviewed Meredith Cadell, Executive Director for the Hopkins County Healthcare Foundation, about the special event.
We are here at the hospital today. It's Physicians Week, and we are honoring all of our physicians, our nurse practitioners, our doctors, and they're all going to come in for lunch today so we can show them how much we appreciate them. Doctors' Day is actually on Friday, but in observance of Good Friday, we're doing it on Wednesday. So that's what we're doing.
What do you got planned for these doctors?
Well, lots of businesses in the community have donated door prizes, so we'll draw names to give them great prizes that have come in from a lot of our home health agencies, as well as other vendors that we work with, some of our local banks. And we also have pies. One of our vendors has given every single doctor a pie, which of course we all love pie, right? And then we will have a fajita meal, and they will all come in and we'll serve them and just give them a chance to visit with one another and kind of chill out, and we'll just have a chance to tell them how much we appreciate all they do for our hospital.
I see a big screen behind you. What's that?
There's a slideshow. We've had nurses and all the associates that work here at the hospital have spent a lot of time writing notes to the different doctors just to tell them how much we appreciate them. So they're all combined in the slideshow, and then after the slideshow, we'll actually give them those notes so they can take them home and read them and let them know how much all the associates appreciate them here at the hospital.
Where are you getting your food?
Los Mochis is catering the meal today.
Good. I was afraid you was going to say, oh, this is hospital food.
Hey, we have good hospital food. And by the way, we now serve breakfast in the morning now at the hospital, so we serve breakfast and lunch. And it is yummy, yummy. So you should come by and have breakfast some morning. I'll treat you to breakfast.
You talking about cafeteria?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when did you start that?
About a month ago.
So that's new.
It is new, yes.
Oh.
And they make the best bacon. It's yummy.
Oh, good.
See, you can always come have breakfast with us.
The annual 60-plus health fair coming up at The Rock is scheduled for April 3rd. They hold this every spring. And you're invited to come between 9 and 1 and find lots of interesting and important things. To tell us more about the health fair, here's Fred Lewis of First Baptist Church.
We're very blessed in Sulphur Springs to have a lot of senior adult different activities throughout. All the churches really work to have some activities carrying over at the Senior Citizens Community Center, and we're really blessed. First Methodist on Wednesday has a community meal, and then they have the help care for people that are homebound a lot. And First Baptist tries to do different things to help senior adults. So this community is, I feel, very fortunate to have a lot of different senior adult activities that provide them the opportunity to stay active and stay well.
And stay well, and that's the key words. Well, there are a lot of things for senior citizens to do here. And if you are a senior citizen and you're thinking that you're bored and you have not enough to do, get up and look around. And one of the first things that you could do if you wanted to start a new plan towards doing that would be on April 3rd, this health fair at First Baptist Church, The Rock.
Right. And they can get some great information to help them make wise decisions. And that's the joy of the health fair. It's not just getting your blood pressure checked or getting, your cholesterol checked or something like that. It's getting good, valuable information to help each person make good health care choices and decisions.
And all the vendors, there's so many that will be set up inside the Rock, which is a beautiful, big, spacious, like a gym.
Right.
But very inviting.
Yes.
The people that man these vendor booths that will be set up are largely young, vibrant, healthy people who love that line of work of helping others.
Right. And also, different agencies come out and they give door prizes for people that come. So not everybody gets a door prize, but they have a lot of different things they give out, candy and cookies and different, and also a lot of different like keychains and other things that and information that help people make wise choices.
Probably most of us have someone in our family that we may be looking after a little bit, or who is aging, that you might need to help direct for some decisions or make decisions for them in future years or months even.
Well, the thing is, more and more younger age groups are having to become the parent of the parent. And that's a new age role that many younger adults don't understand. And sometimes they have to start making medical choices for their parents, and they become the parent of the parent. And when that happens, it's important that the younger generations be prepared with wisdom and knowledge to know how to help their parent make decisions. And as we age, sometimes we wish we all would stay healthy and our mind would be good, but sometimes that doesn't happen. So it's important that younger generations learn how to be the parent of the parent.
Well, this health fair brings all these resources together, and it's really quite amazing. Now, it will be from 9 to noon, but if you get down there, take your time and get down there and be prepared to learn, go around to the different stations and take in what there is there. You'll spend until noon doing it. There's a lot to do.
Yes, there is. And that's why we do it, is that they can get helpful information so that when they come to an emergency room or another crisis in their life, that's not the time to make healthy care decisions. You need to be making those along the way so that when there is an emergency, all of your wishes are known by your family as well as you and your healthcare provider, so that there's no emergency decisions right then that have to be made.
Somewhere along the way at one of these health fairs, some vendor gave me a bottle which looks like a large, kind of a tall medicine bottle with the screw-on lid, and they said, put your mother's vital information in this and put it in the refrigerator.
Right.
If EMS has to come to her home and no one's there to explain, they'll look in the refrigerator and they will find out who she is, what medicine she's taking, etc., her age.
Right.
And recently this happened to us.
Wow. It's important that you make and get some information and have it handy in case there is an emergency and 911 has to be called.
Right.
You need a medical power of attorney so that somebody, in case there's an accident or something like that, someone else can make healthcare choices for you when you're not able to. Also, we used to call them right to life, but they're now called medical directives. And a person needs to talk with their family about how they want to be treated, whether they want to be resuscitated and go through all that extreme measures. But and that's the emergency situation is not that time to make that kind of decision. Make it while you're healthy, and then make sure your children understand. And that directive needs to be on file with your doctor and with your 911 service, which is our local hospital. And we're very blessed to have a local hospital that gives 911 service.
Well, many people wonder about making arrangements for the future. They want to go ahead and get arrangements made, but they may not know who to go to or how to do it.
Well, a lawyer can draw up those papers. Also, your local hospital can help you get the papers, that you have. And a lot of times they encourage you to make those when you enter the hospital. A lot of churches will have those for you too. the main thing is to get it down in writing, it notarized and signed and everything. And as you say, keep a copy in your refrigerator so that in case of emergency, the EMS does not have to wonder, should we do this or should we do that? And, even your medicine that you take should be in that way for in case there is emergency, someone like the EMS can find that and know what you are taking, because what you're taking sometimes affects the rest of your body.
Well, if someone is unresponsive, they cannot speak for themselves.
Right.
And all along the path, loved ones, are encouraged to step in and get knowledgeable about what their parent may be facing or their spouse may be facing.
Right.
And there's plenty of resources locally to do this. If you've ever wondered what it is that hospice really does, you can find out at this health fair.
Yes, you can. And let me say, they do a fantastic job. And a lot of times people think that if you go on hospice, that's the end. But that's not. That's not. A lot of times, hospice provides a specialized care. And it might be sometimes for a month, sometimes it might be 6 or 7 months. But and sometimes people live way beyond just hospice care. But it's a great service that a community has to help people most of the time in their difficult days of living. And it also provides help for the caregiver, too.
This is true.
And let me bring something up. So many times when a child or a daughter or a husband becomes the caregiver, there's a rule about caregiving that many people forget, and they get under a guilt trip. And the rule is the one giving the care, the closest caregiver, receives the blunt of the frustration level. And there are many wonderful caregivers out there. Sometimes they're children, sometimes they're the mate, sometimes they're paid providers. But sometimes when a person is under difficult care in situations in their life, they lash out at the person that is giving the care. And what the caregiver has to understand, that a lot of times when a person is sick, he's not just sick physically, he's sick mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And they'll lash out at the caregiver. There can be a child over in California that never comes. Mm-hmm. There can be a child here taking care of their mother or their father, and they're doing it day in, day out. But sometimes the person that's receiving the caregiving gets mad and frustrated at the caregiver when the child over there never comes, but that is the perfect child. Mm-hmm. And so if you're a caregiver, be sure not to get into a guilt trip just thinking he's lashing out. The caregiver receives the blunt of the frustration level.
That is very kind words, and it's true. Good to keep in mind. A few more things that will be offered during the 60 plus health fair on Tuesday, April 3rd, 9 to noon at the Rock, First Baptist Church. As you mentioned, the blood pressure, glucose checkups, cholesterol checks, blood oxygen levels, foot checks for diabetics, chair massages, that sounds pretty good, pre-need counseling, home health equipment, and more. Much more. It's just good information to make good, wise healthcare decisions. There'll be many of the home health agencies there. If you're wondering who you should choose when that time comes, you can meet some of them. Right. Door prizes at 11:45. So if you've got any questions about the health fair coming up April 3rd, call Fred Lewis, Associate Pastor at First Baptist Church, and the number 885-0646. And we've all talked with Fred quite a bit through times that we've known him, but I wanted to ask him how you came to Sulphur Springs. Well, I grew up and
was reared in Jacksonville, Florida, and I just many years ago, Baylor played in the Gator Bowl, and I saw Baylor, and I got to like it. And so I had the privilege of coming to Waco, Texas, to Baylor University, all the way from Florida, and fell in love with Texas. And then I did, after seminary, my wife and I moved to Michigan, where we pastored for a number of years. And then we moved to Tennessee, where we met Dr. Redmond, and went to First Baptist Church, Lenore City. And when Dr. Redmond came out, he asked me to come with him to the church, and it's been a privilege to be at First Baptist Church for several years.
And so how many years have you?
About 37.
Okay.
They've been real kind, though.
And may I say, you sound just like a Texan now.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, you are part of all things that go on at First Baptist Church and have a special love for the senior citizen community.
Yes, ma'am. They're our future, but they leave a legacy.
They do.
And that legacy is important to be passed on to our younger generations. We have so much of wisdom to pass on, and younger generations are wanting that. They don't want to be told what to do, but they want to hear how God and our country and all of that worked out to provide such a great country we live in.
Well, of course, our younger ones wonder what their lives will be like as they go into their older age. And by having an example of an elderly relative in the family,
yes,
it's somehow, it's beneficial in many ways.
You know, a lot of times we think of wills and things like that, but there's a moral will I would encourage senior adults to think about. And that's when senior adults write down what they would like to be remembered as. It's called a moral will or ethical will. And you write down the values that are so important to you as a person. And you give that, and if you really want to get well, leave a great legacy, get pictures and write down your story and put it all together, and it becomes a living will to pass on to your future generation. And it's called an ethical or moral will.
Okay.
And it's really something senior adults have the time, and if they don't write down their story, when that person dies, the story dies with it.
The moral will is an excellent idea. Thank you, Fred, for bringing that up. And for doing what you do to bring the health fair. Is it twice a year that we do this?
Just, we do, First Baptist does one in the spring, and Karen Weatherman does one for senior citizens over in the fall.
Okay.
We have two a year, and they're both good. And we're thinking about trying to do one sometime during the year in the evening so we can reach younger generations with it.
Great ideas. Thank you, Fred Lewis, for coming today.
Thank you for allowing me. I appreciate it.
We'll see you at the health fair.
That's Channel 18 TV News for today. I'm Don Julian, filling in for Jim Rogers. Thanks for watching, and so long, everybody.